Welcome to this presentation of UPSL Soccer Action, live on YouTube and presented by the Atlantic Soccer Media Group.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Charlie Jordan Field here on the campus of Shiloh High School for this UPSL Georgia Conference Premier Division action sponsored by Images Frozen in Time. SSL FC taking on Dalton United. Larry, we were here for the coverage along with Andre Bomar. And Andre, we have an interesting little setup here because we're kind of a bit of a yin and a yang for this doubleheader today. We're starting off with the Yang, which is SSL FC at the bottom of the table, taking on Dalton United that are at the top of the table in third spot. A bit of that where SSL is in that refining themselves.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things we see with SSL. They've been trying to get themselves back into a competitive mode for the season with Tony Tiente coming at the helm. And they've looked good on certain occasions. They're playing games close, but they're not getting the results they need. But frankly, with Dalton United, who have a chance to get into the division title race with a win today, I think they're fairly beatable. They haven't been traveling well. They have a light squad today. And if there's an opportunity for an upset, I think today might be one of those days.
Absolutely. Like you were saying, this is a bit of a difference for Dalton United this season. No more Kiko Rodriguez at the helm. He stepped away. We now have a new coach for Dalton United, and you see a little bit of them trying to find themselves.
Exactly. So this will be an interesting game to watch, contrasting styles. Dalton United trying to reinvent themselves with less experienced players here. SSL trying to get into the groove as a brand new team for this season. But they're starting to gel a little bit, and I think this is going to be one of those games that might surprise a few people.
Dalton United are going to get us underway there in their red and black kits. They're moving from left to right. SSL in their all navy blue kits, moving from right to left. Thank you for joining us here on ASMG TV on this Easter holiday. And we're underway here at Charlie Jordan Field.
And as I always say, Larry, when you see a game like this, you want to see how these two teams approach the first few minutes. You see SSL right there with a very, very high press, pressuring the keeper there. So it'll be interesting to see how Dalton handles this early on.
Always have to keep an eye out when we talk about Dalton United. We talk about that one threat that they have over most teams in the UPSL, and that is that long throw-in the final third of their opponent. Hernan Saldana has made that almost just an unbeatable talent.
Yeah, that's a real offensive attacking measure they've put in place that's been effective. They need to mirror it with some more attacking in free play. As we got a foul here from SSL. But I think their position in the league table tells you that they have been successful, although they're not the power that they were in the past couple of seasons as they kind of rebuild. They're up in Dalton, Georgia. But here they are away down here in Snellville, Georgia, against Tony Tiente's men.
Good ball over the top. Good ball forward. Cleared away by SSL. One of the big talking points for Dalton United today, Dre, is no Jip Van de Essen in the lineup. He's currently in second place for the Golden, he moved down to third place in the Golden Boot race as Ronald Maradiaga is in second place now just alongside his teammate Emmanuel Lam, who is at the top of that Golden Boot table.
Yeah, Jip has been missed. I think that, he has had college duty that's taken him away from a lot of the play here with Dalton United, and you have to think, what would it be like for Dalton if they had him for all the games? He's been a very potent attacker with a lot of goals in him, but if he's not here, he can't really contribute. So,
and you can hear the wind on the field, Mike. It's about a 7-8 mile an hour wind here in Snellville. It's an absolute perfect day today, 81 degrees. Good ball, tried to cut it through into the box, was number 13 Juarez, deflected off of the SSL defense.
And that's the one thing that I think in the past we looked at SSL, they've been a very potent attacking team, lots of speed down the wings especially, but they have been suspect in defense. And if they let Dalton in, they can be punished and it could hurt them. I think that's one of the things that's hurt them so far this season, not being able to close out games by holding on to leads.
Here's an opportunity for SSL. He gets around two men, trying to work around the third. Hernan, he's not able to do so. It's going to get knocked out. It will be a goal kick. That was a good opportunity for SSL.
Yeah, I think he got everything right except there at the end. He couldn't decide whether he wanted to go far post, near post, if he wanted to try to pass, and he just ran out of time and real estate.
Didn't have enough there at the end to hit the brakes.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. You hope they don't rue that opportunity later on. Dalton trying to get it out, and
that one deflects off, goes out for a throw.
Yeah, I would have expected him to pull the trigger a little bit quicker than that on that last approach play by SSL. Could have gotten an early lead there, but Dalton lives on here as the score remains 0-0. Got two really good games today in this doubleheader.
This will be the first. SSL and Dalton will finish up at 7:30 with Kalanchi Pro Profile and Lamino, Georgia. Which that game has a lot of critical points in the top of the table. Kalanchi
Yes.
Pro Profile still fighting for one of those top spots. We're only midway through the season. This is week 8 of 16. But already we're pretty much down to a 2-horse race between Kalanchi Pro Profile and North Georgia United.
Yeah, it was a costly loss yesterday with Georgia Revolution. They could have gotten back into the division title race, but they dropped all 3 points against Georgia Athletic.
Here's a beautiful ball forward for SSL, working over that far line, coming back. For those that are watching at home, that outline here on the far and near line is going to be that gray line that you can see the ARs walking. It's hard to see up here in the booth. I'm sure it's going to be hard to see on your screens, but it's a dark gray line.
Yeah, there's actually room to make this field a little bit wider here.
Foul committed there by David Saldana, number 12.
Yeah, another important result yesterday is North Georgia dropping 2 points in their draw.
And that's something that will help Kalanchi Pro Profile, losing to Georgia Revolution.
Exactly, a win
Alanis
today, they
barreled
go right
over.
back top of the table. Does Kalanchi.
Yeah, Ruiz knocking over the SSL man. And that's one of the things right here in this UPSL Georgia Conference. Every point matters, and you get down to the end of the season, and you'll find one, maybe 2 teams that'll go the majority of the season undefeated, and it's just a point or maybe 2 that separates sometimes 3 teams.
Yeah, and that's true all over.
Good ball into the box, still controlled by SSL, flicked back, but cleared away by Saldana. And remember, once you get done with the regular season, we move into the playoffs. Top 4 teams will have home field advantage as 8 teams move into the playoffs. And every level of the playoffs, you have home field advantage.
Yeah, the top seed have the home field all the way through to the final. So it does make a difference where you place yourself in the playoffs.
The finals were here last fall when North Georgia United and Kalanchi Pro Profile went against one another in that final. Kalanchi coming out the victor. Here's a chance for SSL. Oh, he hits the post.
My goodness.
He had to wait for that ball to come down so that he could put a foot on it, and he hits the post, knocks it out.
Another gilt-edged chance from SSL. Really should have done better there to get ahead for SSL, but the ball came in close in, but couldn't get it on frame.
You see this beautiful ball that comes in. He lets it bounce, tries to catch it on the bounce, and just pulls it.
Another missed opportunity, and you know, you wonder, you miss too many of those, it might come back and bite you by the end of the game. Still plenty of football to go here. Yeah, you talked about the, you know, how close it can be for the division title, but there's also the race for those top 8 spots, which are the playoff spots in this 14-team division. 2 teams will be relegated at the end, the bottom 2. And so wherever you are in the table, there's plenty to play for.
Another glorious ball into the box, saved there by the keeper.
Brave work from the Dalton keeper there to keep his
Ferrer had
focus.
to get that right. SSL trying to do what North Georgia United did last season. Had an opportunity through restructuring to stay up in Premier. Tried to restructure the entire roster. So far, it hasn't gone their way. They sit at the bottom of the table in that final relegation spot.
Yeah, you know, and the biggest difference, I think, with SSL staying is that they started with a brand new roster, whereas North Georgia had a core of the same players, which I think helped them on their playoff trek. Ooh,
That was a mistake there. It'll be knocked out. It's going to be a corner. The SSL just couldn't get that cleared properly.
I'll tell you what, though, this is a Georgia conference as we look at the replay.
It's a good throw in. The SSL just not able to clear it right there. It just bounces, allows the chance. Doesn't miss by much. This will be a in swinger. Get it all nice and settled up, ready to go. It's got one man short. He elects to go into the box. Saldana not able to get in front of the SSL man. They clear it. Asaka, who had that first good attempt. Good ball over the top. Fall. Usman, he is the top goal scorer for SSL. He's currently 4th in the goal scoring table. Nesma had to come out and clear that ball because it was starting to get dangerous. Bit of a shove there, but that's not a foul in the eyes of the center ref. Ball going to get taken off of Nassim, but they're going to win it back. Both teams working in tight spaces right now. Ooh, here's a really good opportunity for SSL. Get around Hernan Saldana. Good ball. Tried to flip it over to the far side of Saka. Oh!
Great approach play there, Larry. Really well done down that right side. Like I say, when they come forward, they're always dangerous, SSL. And that cutback really got some space from those defenders, and then the ball over the top almost got it onto frame with the last shot there.
Just hitting the outside of the net. Be a goal kick here in the 13th minute.
Dalton have been forward a couple of times with a half chance at decent attack, but it's SSL who's dominated so far in attack. And again, Dalton's going to be very careful with that speed that SSL has.
That ball is going to find its way out for a throw. SSL just able to transition so quickly. Luckily, Dalton has bent, but they haven't broken yet. Still very early to go in this match.
Yeah, SSL unlucky not really to be in the lead already with a couple of really good chances.
SSL need a really good result. They need points as they're at the bottom of the table. They need FC Columbus Elite have been doing really well lately. Fountain City have fallen down to 13th spot.
Yeah, it was really that Columbus derby really showed the problems that I think Fountain City are having right now. Columbus really got the better of them yesterday.
That'll be deflected off. It'll be a throw for SSL.
And that's what I mean about this division. It's just, you know, packed full of talent from top to bottom. You really can't take anything for granted. SSL, I would not be surprised if it got a result today. Tried to take it quickly. SSL wise to the move.
Sometimes teams will try to take a kick very quickly to get back underway, and the rest of the team is not ready for it. Look at Asaka making his way down the field yet again.
Oh, good.
Shot taken over the bar.
Good movement from SSL so far this first few minutes here, 16th minute. Really starting to take a little bit of control of this match. Dalton a little bit on their back heel right now.
I want to say the SSL man, I think he was watching that Georgia Athletic game yesterday with that just stunner of a shot, that 40-yard rip.
Yeah, and for those listening, we will have a top goals of the month and top saves that's going to come out this week. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribe, and you'll get a notice when that is released.
Dalton trying to move that ball forward, not able to do so. Lost his footing, but that's still able to get into SSL's path.
I don't know if it's just me thinking about this, Larry, but SSL is starting to look more and more like Kalanji Pro Profile in the way that they approach games. The passing, the cohesiveness, I think that we're starting to see this team finally gel. And this is a team that was put together 5 days before opening day. They were still doing player trials the week of opening day. So it's been an uphill battle getting themselves organized, but they seem to be finally getting it together.
And this is a team that was once a part of the organization of Kalanji Pro Profile. They broke off, became their own entity.
And now they're one of Kalanji's biggest rivals. When SSL plays Kalanji, they desperately want to beat them to show them that, hey, maybe we're the big boys.
Yeah, it is definitely a big brother versus little brother kind of feeling when that derby happens here. And it's going to happen here at the end of the season.
Yeah, it'll be a nice one. We'll be here at ASMG covering that game. Tony Tiente is really putting together a solid squad here. The question will be, can he keep them safe and survive the season and build on that for the next season?
Foul committed by Dalton.
I don't know what the percentage is right now, but SSL is really bossing this game of possession.
Good little flick there. Here's a chance. Just pulled wide. It'll be a goal kick.
Third great opportunity for SSL to get something on the board there, just missing again.
And this comes from a nice little flick of the heel by Fall as you look here on the replay. You see, as this ball is coming forward, he's just able to flick this ball past the defense.
You got to think one of those is going to get on target. And Dalton, I think they're holding on right now. They're soaking up that pressure. But they're going to have to get something going in attack. And let's see what they can do here.
Saldana, survey in the field, no foul called, taken off the ball.
Good defending.
I'm sorry, that was 14. Thought that was Saldana there for a second. Same body structure. Osaka is able to get around the man, able to get around the second one, into the box. Sliding across. Oh, foul, not able to control that. He wanted to one-time that in at the back of the net. Still able to keep it in. Again, pass 2 men. But it's that touch that let him down. Good movement from SSL.
Dalton trying to hang on here. It's almost a little bit of a desperation in play for Dalton right now. They seem to be a little put off by the pace of SSL and their way to get forward.
And grabbed by the keeper. Good flick forward, headed. We roll into the 22nd minute. It's still 0-0. Foul committed by Dalton there. Dalton United 0, SSL FC 0. Dalton on the season so far, 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. SSL, no wins, 3 losses, 2 draws. But only a 5-goal difference between these 2 teams, Dre. Shows you how tight this league is.
That's where every game counts. That's why, you know, these results mean so much, each from week in, week out. And of course, the tiebreaker was changed a couple of seasons ago to head-to-head, which makes every game count now. Goal difference is still in the equation, but head-to-head is the first tiebreaker. I think we're going to have that as a decider for just about everything, whether it be the division title, playoff places, or relegation.
Absolutely, because as it stands right now, 3 teams, 4th, 5th, 6th, all on 9 points, 7, 8, 9, all on 8 points.
I mean, he's all up and down the table. And that's why I say SSL, you can be fooled by their position in the table, but they're capable of winning a game like this.
A win today for SSL would see them out of the relegation zone.
Is that the only other game going on right now? Potros is leading UMA 2-0. They are in their second half now.
And that's a big result for Potros. So right now, they're currently sitting in 8th spot in that last playoff spot.
Yeah, playoffs are going to be really huge.
And they're tied right now with UMA. Saka now. Trying to thread that ball to the near line, not able to get there, but he receives it back. Good jump over the challenge there. Into the middle. Got Pia over to the far side. Not able to get it past the defense of Dalton.
Dalton just cannot get a handle on possession at all right now.
Able to get around the man. He goes down. That's going to be a foul. Lucky to not get a card out of that, as That was an attack.
Almost frustration a little bit.
This will be a dangerous position for SSL.
Yeah, they do have size there in the middle of the park.
This ball's only about 12 yards out. Lifted to the back post, headed out. It'll be a corner. And that will be our first corner of the match, coming in the 26th minute.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. That delivery wasn't the best on that occasion.
Yeah, hit with a little too much. It'll be an outswinger. Capillo will take. To the back post again. That one almost completely out of the box. Not the two best takes at set pieces for SSL, but they're just utilizing those channels to really good fashion so far, Dre.
Yeah, they have Dalton chasing the game a bit. And now even in defense here, you see the press is really, really tight. They're not giving Dalton any time on the ball.
And the defense has always been the bread and butter of Dalton United. Foul committed by the SSL man. You've always seen with Dalton United, their possession and their movement of the ball always comes from the defense.
Right, yeah. They like to methodically move the ball through. This has been a hallmark for them and given them a lot of success in the past seasons.
And really the only player that is what you would consider a veteran of this defensive line is Hernan Saldana.
Yeah, it really is a rebuilding time for Dalton United. But despite that, they are in a good position in the league table. It's a testament to the coaching and really the overall quality they do have. But they're going to have to work to get a result today.
Good little crowd out here at Charlie Jordan Field on this holiday weekend. Enjoying a beautiful afternoon. And some great UPSL action. Tried to one-time it. SSL man cut that off.
SSL looking very comfortable, whether they're in defense, midfield, or even in attack. A little collision there.
Bit of a delayed foul.
Yeah. I think the ref was going to pause just a little bit to see if there's an advantage. Going to make them retake that free kick.
Waiting for possession of that brand new Voight ball. Voight, the official match ball sponsor of the UPSL.
Same balls they use in Liga MX down in Mexico. Very happy to have our new sponsors as a part of the UPSL.
And a foul committed by Dalton right there.
They're giving away opportunities here, Dalton. Time after time, you wonder if they're going to pay for it on one of these free kicks.
Definitely take the words out of my mouth, Drake, because I was going to say they gifted that foul to SSL.
So they're discussing to see if they can have a little set play here. It's in range.
Stepped over, right into the wall, gets it right back, takes it again. Straight up again, and that one's going to be
Oh.
offsides. That was a good idea of a bicycle kick. Unfortunately, he was offsides.
Offsides, yeah. Nice little try there.
Fall
Just a
was
hair
trying
off.
to make that one interesting.
Yeah. Made the Dalton keeper stretch to get that out, but he had it covered. It's an interesting match so far. You know, I think traditionally we would look at Dalton to be in more of a command as far as possession, but this is not this. This is not your dad's Dalton. Not
Yeah,
from the
absolutely.
past.
This is not the team that has a very robust cabinet of trophies.
Yeah. Wow, so easily taken back. SSL here. You know, I say that, but again, Dalton third place in great position. Despite the rebuilding season that this is for them, they're challenging.
Osaka works it around, gives it down here to Fragakis, and one time!
Oh! They really getting closer and closer, SSL there. Just a little flick there, just goes right over the bar.
And Fall in the right place. You see this ball. Fragakis receives this from Osaka in the channel yet again, lifts it into the box, tried to one-time it from that header.
Boy. It's relentless. This shooting gallery is turning into for SSL.
And like you're saying earlier, Trey, it's only a matter of time. If you keep allowing a team, no matter where they are in the table, you keep giving them opportunities, they're going to take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, we look at the position of SSL on the table, but then you have to remember this is the premier division. These are the best teams in the conference, up and down, all 14.
Another foul for Dalton. This foul being the 8th of the match so far. Only 3 for SSL. Allow him to move up a little bit farther. This is 30 yards out. It's only less than a yard from the touch line. Into the box. This is better. Headed back in and away by Dalton. That one was better.
Good defending, though, by Dalton to get that out. Need to see if they can get something in transition, but they just have not been able to do so far.
David Saldana did a really good job heading that away. Tried to get that central, but the Dalton man in front.
You see all the Dalton players back in their final third. They are sitting back. You know, not even, really it's not even a situation where they're trying to hit on the break. They just haven't been able to get themselves out of their own final third there. Not yet anyway, but like I say, there's plenty of football left.
And you have to go back to this roster that Dalton United brought today, because no Jurgen Ramirez, no Jip Van de Essen. We don't have the likes of Valenciano and Villatoro.
Yeah, Frank Herrera has gone over to North Georgia.
Corner for SSL.
Rebuilding. And you do wonder, what if they had those players now? What would they be like here? I mean, even with this rebuilt side here, they're still in contention.
That old defense with Bittencourt and Valenciano,
Yeah.
and Villatoro, they were just so aggressive. Conversation in the box. You can see the center official just making sure everybody's on the same page, getting ready for this in-swinger. That one, just a little cooked that one a little too much.
Yeah, it was similar to the other free kick that came from that area. Corner kick that came from that area, just a little too far on that far post. Not able to get a threatening attempt there.
See the referees for today's match on the screen there. Al Tanju having a great 36 minutes so far in center. You see his ARs and his fourth official there as well.
Yeah, I know our officials get a lot of flack from players and coaches, but I got to tell you, I'm very proud of these officials in the UPSL Georgia Conference. You know, they do the work week in and week out, and we need them.
And like we talk about all the time, and not only are these players developing into the professional ranks, so are these referees.
Yeah, the referees are also trying to get to that next level, just like the players and coaches.
Here's a great ball forward. He's onside.
He's on. Can he get it?
He does get it. I believe that's Hall with the ball. He lays it back. Not the best first touch.
Oh, poor move in. His teammate a little exasperated at him. Poor challenge there. It kind of fell apart there. Are we going to see a card?
Foul committed there by the SSL man. He's just going to get a talking to.
He's going to say that's going to be the last chance before cards start coming out.
And you could see the frustration from Hall because he did everything right to get that ball forward.
And Potros, just a score update, extended their lead to 3-0 against UMA. Away to UMA today.
That'll be a fun ride home from Seal, Alabama for the Potros squad.
Yep, one of the venues that's a little bit far for many of the teams in the Georgia Conference. And yes, we have the Georgia Conference with 2 teams in Alabama. Just the way geography works for us here.
Yeah, and that's going to extend here as we get ready to kick off here in just a few weeks. The inaugural UPSL Georgia Women's Division. It'll kick off here in just a couple weeks. We'll have a team in Chattanooga that'll be a part of that.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. Paul DePay, FC women are going to be playing out of Chattanooga. Up there with North Georgia United, who are going to be playing. That's going to be a nice little rivalry for them.
And it's going to be a fun one to watch as that Paul DePay FC women's team is going to have to travel all the way down to Dublin, Georgia to take on the Middle Georgia women's team. That's going to be a drive.
Yeah, that's going to be – it is stretched out a bit there down there in Macon, Georgia for Middle Georgia Peaches. We'll be playing there. And, of course, Kalanji Pro Profile women are going to be playing. There'll be a few teams that are going to be waiting for in the women's division, waiting for 2026. One of them is going to be the winner of the Community Cup, which is Forest Rovers FC, led by Aaron Martinez. So we look forward to seeing them return next season.
Yeah, that division come next year, it's going to be just as full as these men's teams. Fall gets it forward, but right into the grasp of the keeper.
Yeah, for all SSL's possession, they have not been able to get anything in the back of the net yet. And if Dalton gets cranked here, it could cost SSL.
And we've seen it before with this Dalton team where you give them just one chance.
Oh, yeah.
They will make you pay.
That is one thing with their coaching staff. And, you know, I know that Kiko Rodriguez has handed it over to Jose Gonzalez now for this season, new coach, but he's been with the team. But they have a lot of experience.
An experienced coach himself.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, they're never really worried about, you know, falling behind. They have a composure that keeps them in games. And you see here, still 0-0. And they get some possession, get a score before the half. It gets very interesting.
We're in the 40th minute. It's still 0-0 between Dalton United and SSL FC. This SSL Soccer Saves Lives team has had the better of the chances so far.
Here comes Dalton. Got a little space out there on that left side.
Offsides, coming from an offsides position.
Yeah, despite that, probably the best move there, Larry, for Dalton so far in this game.
Yeah, that's really the best opportunity they've had here in the last 30 minutes.
If they start to put a few of those possessions together, it can get very dicey for SSL. And remember, they missed some gilt-edged chances earlier in this match.
Not able to control that pass. Trying to let it roll so he could turn. We'll see how much stoppage time we'll get after regulation. I wouldn't expect more than maybe a minute as we roll into the 42nd.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any real stoppages of any sort. Pretty straightforward so far. Oh, cut
Works
through
his way
just so
through too,
nicely.
man. Doesn't get that pass right, but he's got another chance. Hall getting around Saldana for a brief second. Has to hit the brakes, come back. Make it another chance. Deflected off of Hernan. Here's another chance for SSL. Shot taken, and it bounces right back into his hands.
Dalton doing just enough on defense to put off those shots.
Save like that makes this Manchester United fan a bit of a PTSD as it spilled from his hands, but it went right back to him.
Yeah, quite a difference than Anana's gaff the other day in the first leg.
Foul committed by SSL.
UMA have pulled a goal back against Portros. Now 3-1 there in favor of Portros. Another great organization there, UMA.
UMA building a really nice organization down there in the southwest region of Georgia.
Yeah, they're going to be adding an academy with us in the fall. That's another thing that we're going to be adding in the Georgia Conference. But they're also adding a women's team in 2026. UMA is.
They're right there in the LaGrange, Opelika area between Georgia and Alabama, playing this season's matches at Seal, Alabama. This ball gets forward, but it's going to get knocked out. It'll be a throw for SSL.
Lots of runoff area here.
So far, the statistics of this match very close. 6 throws for SSL, 2 throws for Dalton United. 8 fouls for Dalton, only 5 for SSL.
Yeah, I think the only lopsided may be the possession, which is solely in SSL's favor, I think, at the moment. But what counts is what goes into the back of the net.
Yeah, Dalton playing that very much bend, don't break mentality today. He goes down, Hernan Saldana gives an opportunity for Capilla. He goes down, going to be a foul, and he's going to call a handball.
A handball, yeah. I thought he was going to call a foul against Dalton there.
Yeah, I did too, but then you see him reach for the hand, for the
ball,
forearm.
Yeah, ball came off the arm.
That's the best result that Dalton could have gotten there.
Yeah, for sure.
because that was in a dangerous position just outside the box.
Fourth official preparing.
He's onside.
He's on.
Fall. Can he do it?
Oh,
what a save by the
save.
keeper. That should have gone in the back of the net. Anytime he's going to get another chance. Hit right into his arms.
1 minute being shown by the fourth official. But, man, what a great save from the Dalton keeper. One-on-one with the attacker. You could argue that the attacker should have done better. He had a large goal to aim at. Got a little close to the keeper. But all credit to the Dalton keeper there. Keeps the goal scoreless, keeps the game scoreless now.
Good ball forward, headed, and cleared by SSL. And that will be the whistle, folks. That will take us into halftime. It is SSL 0, Dalton United 0. Very fair result. I mean, both teams very good. Nobody really has an advantage per se. Definitely advantage possession-wise for SSL, but that's just about it.
Yeah, I think Dalton's going to be pretty happy with going into the break with no score because SSL have dominated possession. They've had more of the attacking play and more chances on goal, but they have not been able to convert. And if Dalton kind of gets their act together in the second half, I will see what kind of adjustments they make at halftime. But they get their act together in the second half, they can take this game to where they need it.
Well, that'll be it for the first 45. We'll step away for a few minutes, come back. We'll get you all the scores and highlights and everything ready. You can watch the highlights of the first 45 at halftime. Get you a chance to get a drink and get a snack for the second 45 here at Charlie Jordan Field at Shiloh High School. It ends at half. SSL 0, Dalton United 0. Don't go away. We'll see you in a few moments. Welcome back to Charlie Jordan Field here on the campus of Shiloh High School for this UPSL Georgia Premier Division contest. It is SSL nil, Dalton United nil. Larry Weaver here alongside Andre Bomar. See, in the halftime report, not a whole lot happening in that first half in regards to shots on goal. We'll take a quick look at Week 8 that you're seeing so far. See that Georgia Athletic with a 2-1 lead over Georgia Revolution. FC Birmingham losing 2-3 to Albion SC Atlanta. Fountain City losing to Columbus Elite in that Columbus Derby. 1-1 draw between North Georgia United and Pachuca, Georgia. That matchup with Potros and UMA just about wrapped up. I believe it's going to end 3-1, Dre?
Yeah, it looks like they're in deep in stoppage time now. Potros looks like they're going to pull out the victory. So that'll be a good win for them with playoff contention. They're going to be looking at getting a high playoff place.
0-0 here at SSL in Dalton, and then at 7:30 we kick off Kalanji Pro Profile and Lamino, Georgia, and that will end Week 8, here in the UPSL Georgia Conference for the Premier Division. 16 weeks, 13 games altogether. It's a couple extra weeks in there for makeups and reschedulings. Once we get past that 16 weeks, underway here for the second 45. SSL get us underway. They're going to be moving from left to right in the navy blue kits. Dalton United in the red and black kits moving from right to left. Once these 16 weeks are over, we go into playoffs. Top 8 teams will move on.
And it is a seeded playoff, so the top 4 will have home field advantage. I want to see how these teams come out for the second half. Will we see the same possession ball from SSL, or will Dalton get more into the match this half?
Nesma, the SSL keeper, did not have to do a whole lot of work that first 45.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that can lull you back to sleep back there. You have to stay sharp even if you're not getting a lot of action, because the way Dalton can hit you quickly.
The one thing that SSL has going for them in this second half is a very large depth of a bench, as Dalton only brought 3 players. Each team in the UPSL can have 7 substitutions per match. And SSL has a full roster over there.
Yeah, you can seat up to 9 on the bench and use 7 of those during the game.
That ball's still in play.
A little hard to see that gray touch line there, but it is there.
Stafford sent that ball straight up into the air. It bounced still in play, and he was able to clear it. Now finally cleared forward for SSL. Here's a chance. Still able to control it, lays it off. Bit of a deflection, will be a corner.
Another good approach play by SSL, but for the deflection could have been on target.
This will be the third corner of the match. All corners in the possession of SSL.
Looks like we got that final down in Alabama there.
That'll be a good result for Potros, as those two teams were tied.
Get set up for this corner.
Waiting for the ball to come back, and indeed it's there. Very
A lot of
large.
runoff. Oh, short.
Quickly taken, short. The set, try to catch off guard with that quick corner. Be a throw. One of the things that Dalton United has not been able to utilize that dangerous threat that they have, which is that deep throw, have not really had an opportunity. Only had 2 throw-ins this entire match. No foul committed there in the mid.
Yeah, I agree with the referee. There's 2 players just collided. No foul.
But we've seen that time and time again throughout the seasons. When you give Dalton United an opportunity for that throw-in from deep in the third. Here's a chance!
Oh.
And over the bar. But you
Another
give them that chance, they'll utilize that throw-in, and it's almost like a corner.
Yeah,
They
just
haven't been able to use it at all today.
another weapon in their arsenal. And for those viewing, you can view on YouTube, but we also have these games streaming on our website at asmgtv.com. Also have match reports and match galleries.
Not able to control that ball. Out for throw. Again, one section that has been on the plus side for SSL so far. 8 throw-ins for SSL, only 3 so far for, make that 4.
Yeah, it looks like we got an update from Dalton United on their roster. We had a little snafu with their playing roster today.
It was partial.
Thank you for Jose Gonzalez for updating us.
We had a couple players that came in late before we got their roster, so we had to verify a few of those.
Yeah.
Over the top,
Oh!
and it's in, just like that. You give them a chance. That's the throw-in.
You called it, Larry. You talked about that throw in, how dangerous it could be, and boom, there it is. Largely against the run of play, Dalton have come ahead. And what did we say in the first half? Although we got discussion with the referee.
Here comes that Hernan Saldana throw all the way into the box, past the keeper, and all his brother, David Saldana, has to do is chest it into the back of the goal, and it's 1-0 Dalton United.
Boy, astute analysis from you, Larry, about that weapon that Dalton does have. And like we said, when SSL had those opportunities in the first half, will they rue those missed chances? So far they have.
Just waiting for the center official to finish writing in his book.
What a valuable goal that is for Dalton United. And boy, what a throw in. Oh, what a great way to start the second half, too. Take a little bit of pressure off themselves, Dalton.
Now SSL has to chase this game.
And least we forget, a result here for Dalton can catapult them in second place, even if temporarily. It's a vital game here.
SSL needing a win to get out of the bottom. Geardes controls that ball.
Dalton now with their tails raised a little bit. All the silky moves that weren't working in the first half are working now.
And this is a team that thrives on that positive energy. Once they get that goal, then they start to feel the game. Then they start to really express themselves.
Foolish pass there from SSL.
That one knocked out. It'll be a throw for Dalton.
You know, with a goal like that, it can change the sort of the momentum for the game and also change the strategy for Dalton.
You see the weather there. 80 degrees with an 8-mile-an-hour wind. The wind's blowing across the field, so I don't think it's going to be in Saldanha's favor for this side. It's going to give it a go.
It's going up there, though.
This time, cleared away for a second.
Got it in. Cross just before it got to the end line there, but SSL trying to get it out. Now it's their time to struggle in defense.
But it was just like I was saying, Trey, all Dalton needed was that one chance.
Yeah, and they got it, and they converted it. Like we've said so many times, it doesn't matter how many chances you have, it's how many you convert.
And it's one of those things that is so ironic for me because we see it match after match, season after season, and it's like the other teams are not prepared for it. They know that long throw is coming.
Is it that, or they just really don't have a defense for it? I mean, if you don't have the height in players, it's hard to defend a ball that gets in there like that. It's down to execution. It's got to be frustrating for, the skipper, Tony Tiente. Seemed to have a really good game plan to get into this game, but the poor finishing, great possession, poor finishing has hurt SSL so far today.
I think this is where the bench is going to have to come in and help. Here's an opportunity for SSL. Taken down, no ball. They are just livid about that one.
I don't know what they're livid about. That's a good call by the referee. That was not a foul.
Throw in quickly taken by SSL.
And I hope they don't start trying to get the referee to aid them. They're going to have to play their way back into this game. They can't get help from the referee.
Play to the whistle. Do not allow emotion to control your play.
Yeah, you're behind because Dalton is beating you to the punch, not because of the referee.
Here's a good 1-2, but it's out of bounds. Hall couldn't get there in time. Be a throw for Dalton. Dalton starting to tack up the throws here early in the second half. SSL have one man getting ready. No foul going to be committed there.
Yeah, falling down is not a foul.
Yeah, Ruiz not able to stay with Stafford. He goes down. Good ball forward in space, but Dalton is going to be there to clear it. Marengo still with possession. Now 2 SSL men coming up to try to get it, able to win it. Capilla has it. Lays it off. Shot deflected. SSL starting to attack desperately, wanting to equalize early in this match.
Yeah,
we still got 30
their head.
minutes.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep their head and play the game. Don't let the mind game start to get to you.
That ball is lifted forward, but it's easily controlled by the defensive SSL. Good press there by Juarez, forcing Naisma to send that ball out quickly. Lifted over here to the near side.
Oh, good ball.
Good ball from Sanda. Lay off, Hall. He'll go back to Sanda. Sanda trying to get space. That'll be knocked out to be a throw.
SSL in good position here.
Dalton defending in numbers. Gonna go back to Stafford. Into the box, bouncing. Wanting something there. They were thinking there could have been a handball. Not going to win it. Now here's an opportunity. Pulled back. Now that's going to be a red card. Got to be a red card. Yes, it was a yellow card. Yes, he was tugging him back. But that's a blow to the face. That has to be a red card, Dre.
We'll see what the referee says here. Definitely a yellow card on the actual foul.
Absolutely. That's a yellow card all day of the week. But the blow to the chest, you saw that yesterday in the Georgia Revolution and Georgia Athletic game. If we set that precedent from yesterday, we have to do it today.
We'll see what's going to be the decision here. He's definitely going in his pocket for cards of some sort. It's like the fourth official's motioning as well. I don't know if he's going to have a discussion with him. Linesman's coming out.
Definitely the yellow card issued to number 22.
And I don't see.
Ohana. He is reaching to his back pocket.
I thought maybe he would go to the fourth official first. He's looking for the player. Yellow for the retaliation.
Wow.
And it may be he didn't actually connect. Maybe he swung at him, but I don't know. In the game with Georgia Revolution, Scarrett did make contact.
Absolutely.
Hand to face. I don't think it was the exact same thing in this case. But it was enough to get a yellow for both players. I wouldn't have been surprised to see red, though.
It wasn't so much that he made contact, it was the action, the intention.
Well, yeah, it seems to throw him off.
I'm going to say that David Saldana is very, very lucky not to have a red card right now.
Yeah, I think you may be right on that.
If I was Dalton United, I would get David Saldana out of this match as quickly as possible.
It's quite the professional foul from SSL because the Dalton player was going to be loose.
Well, absolutely.
And possibly bearing down on goal there.
Absolutely. That was nothing but a professional foul. They knew that they were beat. As we see the player down, we'll look again one more time at this. You can see as this ball's coming forward, he knows that he's going to be beat. He pulls him back, and it's that.
And throws him off. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's lucky to be on the field right now with that retaliation. I mean, we have the benefit of replay. Positioning of the referee might have been an issue there. We do have the referee assessor here today. He's looking at the performance of referees. We might be able to have a word with him.
Substitution ready to go for Dalton United. Fourth official getting the board ready. And a substitution ready to go for SSL, the player that has been getting ready lately.
Yeah, that's another thing. SSL is going to have to watch it as well because they can't start to get into indiscipline. They're already complaining about referee calls.
It'll be number 8, Nassim, who's coming off for SSL. He will be replaced by number 20.
Yeah.
And number 15 for Dalton United, Moore, he is going to be replaced by number 14. Well, I'm sorry, number 14 coming off for number 15.
But I tell you what, if that foul
So
from the
Moore
SSL
replacing
play,
Pepe.
I was going to say that foul by the SSL player had been in the final third, he would have gotten a red.
Yeah, both ways.
Yep. It's the only position of the field and the other defender.
And that was that irony of that red card yesterday was if Scarra would not have committed it, it was going to be a yellow card for the Georgia Athletic player. But because of the dangerous play, he gets the red.
Yeah, it was one of those split-second responses from him, the reaction that he probably regretted 2 seconds after he did it. That did him in for that match.
Knocked out, it'll be a throw for SSL. Rolling into the 66th minute, currently 1-0 Dalton United over SSL.
Another Dalton player down. He's back up there.
Foul committed by SSL. Gerdes comes over to Saldana. Now, Dalton starting to use the width of the pitch.
Good work from Dalton here.
It'll be interesting to talk to the assessor after the match to talk about that SSL player because technically he was the last player for SSL.
I know, and it's a key thing with a call like that, because it's not just being the last man, it's denial of a scoring opportunity. And because of where it was on the field and the fact that there were other defenders around there, there was another
bit of a, the Dalton man would have felt like he had a little bit of a kick out.
Yeah, they're starting to flop around a little bit now. But I think the position of where the foul took place, the fact that there were other defenders running on in the position, really did have a factor, whether it's yellow or red in that instance. It's not just the last man anymore like it used to be back in the day.
That ball sent high, and it's going to find its way out for a throw.
But it got a little bit more interesting with these calls, and SSL getting a little frustrated. But both teams are going to have to keep their heads, though. Still anyone's game.
You know, Dre, it was what we were talking about earlier off camera when we were talking about that North Georgia game, where was that potentially a red card issued? And you were saying because the player was going away from the goal, that's why it wasn't considered a red card.
Yeah, and that was it. And the referee got it completely 100% correct. But, you know, North Georgia, I think they were so fixated on the event, they lost the initiative in that game, and they dropped points. But at the end of the day, North Georgia United, the only team without a defeat in the division. 2 draws, but no defeats. That's why I say when you have these calls, you know, we've had them already in this game today where, you know, they're crying for a penalty or a handball in certain situations. If it doesn't go your way, you got to get your head back in the game. The referee's not going to change his mind 5 minutes from now.
You talk about that goldfish memory. You need to forget as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen teams who are on top of games lose that initiative just by wanting to argue with the referee instead of playing the game. Bad calls happen at every level. You can't dwell on it.
Hall having to hit the brakes to catch up to that ball as it was deflected off the Dalton man. Makes it all the way back to the entering SSL man. And just taken off of the ball there. No foul. Not the best control of the ball, but SSL still maintaining. And he's going to go down, and he's going to earn a foul. The Dalton man is saying, hey, that was shoulder to shoulder, but center official sees otherwise. Quickly taken into the box. Cleared away. It'll be a throw. And we have a substitution geared up for SSL. Be the end of the day of Hall. He will be replaced by Chicksum, one of the prolific scorers for SSL in seasons past.
Got to see if he can make a difference in this game now.
Into the box, grabbed by Gerdes. Gerdes is a solid keeper for Dalton United. That's one of the things that they have going for him. He was a part of their U.S. Open Cup campaign.
Yeah, he's been pretty strong in this match today. It's been challenged on a number of occasions and has been equal to the challenge.
Chicksom. Stafford has space to work, hits the brakes, lays it off. Working the far side now. Has space, takes a shot, rolls right on through and out for a goal kick.
SSL now having to settle with long-range attempts. A lot of possession. They need to remember how they played in that first half. When they got closer in.
And they were far more aggressive than Dalton United in that first half drive.
Yeah, and now Dalton United seems to have gotten out of their shell for the second half. They've been the better team in the second half.
They definitely had a great conversation at halftime and have themselves in a far better position than they did in that first half. Bounces through, Geardes has it.
SSL still with that high press. Trying to force a mistake, get an opportunity.
That one shanked out for a throw. Like you said, Dre, it only takes one opportunity to get back in this match.
It's only a 1-0 lead. Plenty of time.
One missed pass.
How many times have we seen goals scored in stoppage time so far this season? Even yesterday, FC Birmingham were seconds away from a draw and gave up a very, very late goal to lose all 3 points.
Able to get it to Fragakis, but he's not able to do anything with it.
Dalton doing just enough defense, although they gave it away easily there.
He came back, won it back. Trying to dink it over the top. He gets around the keeper, but he has to lay it off, and there's nobody there. And you see the frustration in the middle of the field from the SSL man.
I was surprised he was onside, to be honest.
Absolute frustration because they knew that they had that opportunity there.
That's been the story of the game so far, though, for SSL. Close chances, but no finishing piece.
Missed that pass, but step in, win another one.
Good hustle.
Now, here comes Sam. He lays one, but that's just too far forward for the on-running fall, excuse me. Stafford to go back to Nesma. It's only one mistake. There's a second mistake by Nesma.
Wow.
But that one mistake that led to the goal.
Bailed out by his defensive.
Ball over the top. He's
space.
onside.
Well onside. Tries to
Deflected.
take an ill-advised shot, though.
Now this ball is just in chaos land right now.
Still some time left, but it's going to become a factor pretty soon.
Tried to push that one into the box. That'll be knocked out. It will be a corner.
And here's an opportunity for SSL. I'm sure they'll push those blue shirts forward.
Will be an in-swinger. Has a short option if he wants it. Elects to call him off. That one
Half
bounced
chance.
through.
I'd like to welcome Andrea from Italy in the chat. Thanks for coming on board.
Visiting with us twice in one weekend.
Such a vital game for both teams. Dalton trying to stay in pace with the division leaders. SSL trying to get out of the relegation zone.
That ball knocked out, and then there's going to be a coming of players. Duero has found himself on the field a couple times now. Yellow card going to be issued.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a malicious attempt, but rather clumsy.
Capilla with that yellow card in the 78th minute.
It's like that might have been for the post-collision incident.
Be a throw for SSL. Back to Stafford. Thought about quickly going over there on the far side, elected not to. Now, over to Frekakis. He comes back. SSL men trading passes. Good turn. Trying to do it all by himself, but he is going to earn a corner.
SSL getting closer and closer, applying the pressure. But it's Dalton with the 1-0 lead. I tell you what, with Kalanji dropping points last week, North Georgia, 2 draws, it's kept Dalton in the picture for the division title.
Another in-swinger. A little bit farther out this time. Shot taken. Oh, it's off the post. And everybody just watching because they were in an offside position.
Second time they've hit the post today, SSL. SSL faithful in the fans, trying to urge their team on.
We enter the 80th minute.
SSL need a point or more.
We got 10 minutes plus stoppage time. Don't expect much in that regard. He's trying to make his way through, cut down by Dalton. They're able to defend in numbers. Dalton United currently with 7 men back for defense. It's going to be called for the foul.
Oh, yep. I mean, SSL has played well enough to get something out of this game. Good performance. Just couldn't get that finishing just right.
Foul going to be committed by SSL. They are not happy with that decision.
Yeah, but they got to keep their head. They can't afford disciplinary issues right now. They need to get back in this game, keep their head on the play.
Stafford able to win that for SSL, get them back moving forward. Again, thank you for watching us here on ASMG TV. If you like what we do, don't forget to like and subscribe to get all of our content throughout the week, not just these live matches, but highlights, interviews, and podcasts.
Keep an eye out for our podcast for the week where we do some recaps and previews, interviews.
Chick Som trying to put the pressure on. He'll knock that ball out. Be a throw.
Dalton United trying to hold on. Got substitutes ready to come on.
Another sub coming on for SSL. It will be the end of the day for number 21. Sanda, he will be replaced by number 24, Kanta. He's got about 8 minutes to work plus stoppage time. Can he be a super sub for SSL? Kanta receives it. Gets it back. Into the box. Fall was there, got the head on it, just over the bar, not able to get that ball down and on frame.
Good move forward again. Just that final ball missing for SSL. But they're right there. 83rd minute, running out of time now.
Dalton United are preparing a sub. Get us back underway. Stafford heads it. Kanta able to receive it. Good movement from SSL. Able to get that to Som. Good little flick over to Kanta.
Nice.
He's got space.
Oh!
Shot taken into the back of the net. There it is for SSL. They find the way to get the equalizer here late in the match.
The finish they've been looking for finally comes for SSL. You see they're celebrating with the fans. What a great finish and great approach play. That flick on early on released that player on the near side, and then just a beautiful finish.
Take a look at that ball. We were saying, could he be the super sub? Kanta gets it over, times it, and he just rips that from 20 yards out.
You're going to look for that in the goals of the month right there. Great finish. 1-1.
I'm saying, could Kanta be that super sub? And indeed, right there.
Yeah, ref he wanted to play advantage there, but it didn't develop. He's taking it back to the original spike. Good refereeing there.
Absolutely. That's a much needed point for SSL. Can they sneak two more back and take this from Dalton late? We will see.
Still time for either to get a winner here. Going to be a tense last 5 minutes plus stoppage.
Like I said, Dalton was defending with 7 men and still allowed that ball through. But it was hit with such pace.
Yeah, it's really, it was just a great finish. Nothing he could do. There's something they've been looking to do for the whole game. They finally got it.
Occupies goes down. He earns the foul.
Dalton's going to have to mark up really cleverly here.
This ball is going to be about 40 yards out. This is a ball that they're just going to lift into the box, you would assume. Here comes the substitute for Dalton United. It's going to be the end of the day for Brown, number 9. He is going to be replaced by, I'm trying to see who that is. I know it's not 24 because Hernan Saldana is on the pitch.
Let's see who's that. I don't recognize him from here.
Because I was looking at the board.
We'll figure it out in just a second here. We're ready for SSL.
We got plenty of time. Here comes this option. Lifted into the box. Punched away by Geardes, but it's right back in possession of SSL. He makes the turn, gets space. He's Going to come down here to this side. Ohana over to Conta. Conta back into the box, far side. Fragakis not going to get there, but he's going to earn a corner.
Oh, he had designs on a good header there coming in, but it was just put out by the defender there for Dalton United.
And it was number 21 who came on for Dalton. Another substitution is ready to go for SSL. Fragakis, number 3, is going to be coming off here in just a minute. This will be a corner on the far side. Be another in-swinger. Headed away. It's bouncing around. Sam has it.
He's in the box.
Across. Stepped by fall, but he's not going to be able to control that. It'll go out. This will give an option for the sub. And it is going to be Fragakis, whose day is done. He's going to be replaced by number 11.
Good pressure there from SSL there to get another opportunity there. Desperate defending from Dalton. Doing just enough. Dalton content to play it out the back. He's got space here on this near side.
Receives it, but he runs past it. But that pass, not great. David Saldana has it, and he's going to earn a foul.
Yeah.
Just gets ran over. You can see the SSL man not happy with that call, but
well, it was a correct call.
it was a correct call. Fourth official has the board. We'll see how many minutes of stoppage time. I'm going to say I'm expecting 3.
That could be so.
With the little ruckus and then
Yep.
some subs and a goal.
Yep. Got a couple players down at one time.
5-man wall for SSL. 1 man checks off. It'll be a 4-man wall. Just about 34 yards out. Right about level with the near side post. Nesma getting his wall together, ready to go. Duero over the ball. Right into Nesma.
Shaky part for the goalkeeper.
Not quite sure why the Marengo, number 4 for Dalton, and that's going to be a yellow card issued to the Dalton man.
Pull the ball back here for
Number 19, Ruiz, is going to get that in the 90th minute.
for the 4th official. Show it on the board.
But
here.
that was interesting because Nesma had the ball, and then Marengo just runs into him and kind of grabs him.
Fourth official about to put the board up.
4 minutes. 4 minutes of stoppage time.
4 minutes for one of these teams to grab a late winner. We've seen it already twice this weekend.
That one bouncing through. Gets past 2 Dalton men, and then it bounced through 2 SSL men, but SSL have it. Makes it all the way through the box and knocks out. It would be a goal kick. I think he tried a little too hard to do that all himself, Dre.
Yeah, desperate to get something going, tried to run it all himself. You know, a 1-1 result would not be unfair for either side here. But there's still time to get a winner.
Pushed off the ball, got to be a foul.
Yeah. A little too handsy there.
Yeah, it's going to be the extended elbows on that one.
Yeah.
Quickly taken. David Saldana trying to work
ball.
around the man. He's able to do so. He's
Foul.
in the box. Blast that away. Will be a corner.
I was running. It looked like he was being held there for a second. I was in a bad angle to see for sure.
We'll take a look at the replay. As I kind of agree with you, I think he was being pulled back just a little bit. And see, they quickly take this.
No, I guess not.
Gets to Saldana. He makes the turn. Just a slight,
Yeah.
you see
Shoulder
the
to
arm on the shoulder.
Yeah, not much to on that. That's why I'm up here in the booth and not a referee on the field.
Yeah, we'll leave that to those ladies and gentlemen down there
Yeah, please.
in the green. Quickly taken short. The center official did not like that quickly taken, so he tells him, let's try it again.
Let's do this again.
SSL man, a little too close, quickly taken, in swinger cleared.
I'm surprised he didn't ask for more room, but.
That ball's going to get blasted out.
Yeah, I think it was miskicked there.
SSL trying to find the late winner. Chicksom, not able to get that. He almost was there. Gerdes had to get that right.
Inches, inches, inches.
3 minutes on. How many more seconds of stoppage time will be added to the 4? Right into center circle. SSL moving with confidence. That one cut off.
Lazy pass.
Yeah, a little too lazy into the channel. It's going to be a throw, but it's going all the way out. Get that second ball back underway quickly. Work that out of space. Get it all the way over here to the near side.
Gotta get it forward. Running out of time.
Som receives it, gets pushed off, still has it. He turns,
There it
lifts
goes.
it forward. Here's an opportunity. It's headed, it's under control, and Gerdes gets there. Oh, SSL had a chance.
If the ball had bounced a little bit differently, that could have gone to the back of the net. But as it is, Dalton.
And that's
plays it
going to
and
end it.
survives. Wow.
Wow.
What an end to that game. What a
That
chance
one-
to close it out.
That one almost went absolutely wrong for Dalton United, as that ball was really in an opportunity for SSL.
Yeah, it really was a frantic end to a really interesting match.
Let's see if we can watch that last one more time. You see as this ball's coming forward and Chicksom turns, he sends it forward, bouncing through. Gerdes doesn't get it right. Unfortunately, there's nobody there with Kapaya to help put that in the back of the net. So we end the beginning of our doubleheader 1-1
Yeah,
in
so
what ended in
close.
a very entertaining first of our doubleheader.
So as it is this weekend, so far the top teams have been dropping points. We got Kalanji that's about to play in our second game here that we're going to be broadcasting. So if you're there as a viewer, look for the other link.
Yeah, if
for
we
the
look
Kalanji
at
Pro Profile versus Limio game that's going to be starting shortly. We'll be here to give you all the action.
You can see there on the screen all the scores from this weekend. That's going to end it for these two teams. We could quickly look at these two teams for next weekend. Dalton United will be home to UMA next Saturday at 6 o'clock. SSL will be on the road to FC Columbus Elite at 7 o'clock on Saturday. So those are going to be two big matches, a very big match for SSL because FC Columbus Elite at the bottom of the table with them, but definitely in front of them. So they need to come away with some points down in Columbus. Well, that's going to do it for us here at ASMG TV. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to get all of our content throughout the week. For Andre Bomar, I've been Larry Weaver. Christian Bomar down there on photography. Thank you for watching ASMG TV. We'll be back in a few minutes for Kalanji Pro Profile and Lamino, Georgia. Until then, have a great Easter weekend, and we'll see you next time here on ASMG TV.
This has been a presentation of the UPSL. Any use of this broadcast without the written consent of the Atlantic Soccer Media Group is prohibited.